Hi and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Julia Arndt and I'm a peak performance coach and stress management trainer. And I'm really excited to dive into today's video because if you have been following my YouTube channel for a while, you know that usually every month I'm doing a video specifically on my experience as an entrepreneur and building my own business. Over the last 3 months, I haven't done a video like that because I'm always not really sure what you really like to see, and I'm testing out a couple of different things, of course, as well. And with COVID-19, everything shifted a little bit, right? So I today really want to take the time to talk with you a little bit about my own experience, how I have shifted my business, what my thought process was over the last couple of 3 months, and how I've been able to navigate pretty gracefully, in my opinion. Don't want to toot my own horn, but I've been actually really satisfied with how my business has shifted over the last couple of weeks, and I did have to shift a lot. So I want to talk with you about all of these different things. If you're really curious to learn more about me and how I've been starting my business and going through the motions and the ups and downs of building a new business, make sure that you check out specifically my playlist on my YouTube channel, where I'm talking about really each month of my business process over the last 12 to 13 months, which will give you a lot of different insights and hopefully some motivations and inspirations as well on how you can start your own business or how you can navigate change when you are feeling a little bit challenged, okay? With that said, I would also really appreciate it if you would subscribe to my YouTube channel here down below, and also if you give me a thumbs up, because that really helps me to understand what do you enjoy watching, what do you want me to talk more about. I'm spending every single week in front of the camera to create video content for you, and I would love to make this video content as customized as possible and as relevant as possible for you guys. So tell me what you want. If you're really enjoying these entrepreneurial kind of videos, I'm super happy to talk with you about my experience and how I'm thinking through different things as well. Okay? So with that said, let's get started and let's jump into March 2020. That's when the whole world stood still a little bit, right? Everybody was asked to shelter in place and work from home. At the beginning of March, a lot of personal things actually happened because we bought a new house. As you know, this new office space is a very new office space for me, which is really, really wonderful. It's been wonderful to have my own space and not have to share my office with my fiance anymore, even though he's very sweet. But as you can imagine, if you want to be productive and if you want to be undistracted, it is really nice to have your own space. And especially since I'm recording on a very regular basis every week, not only podcasts and YouTube videos, but also programs, I need that space. And of course, I wanted to create something really beautiful as well. So exciting times. We moved into a new house here in Lake Tahoe. So as you can imagine, this was a pretty busy period for us because of course, we had to pack all of our things up. We had to move everything from one house to the other and from this house to the other house because this house came furnished. So we kind of did a swap of furniture because we're now renting my own little house and my first house here in Lake Tahoe as well. And really, really exciting, we also got a little puppy. His name is Kobe. If you haven't seen him yet, he's super, super wonderful. Unfortunately, he is spending his time with his daddy. Otherwise, I would just pull him into the video right now and I would show him to you. But you can actually check out this week's podcast episode with Jessie Shuralev, where we're talking about motherhood, infertility, and control. And sneak peek, you're gonna get to see Kobe at the end of the podcast interview. So it is a really cool podcast interview. I highly encourage you to watch it anyway, and then you'll get a chance to see Kobe as well. But yeah, lots of different changes for us at the beginning of March. We didn't really know what was going on with COVID at the time. It was the first week of March. So we bought a house, we got a puppy. Not really a good idea. It was definitely a really challenging time because there was a lot of things going on. And then we also had, of course, a couple of sleepless first nights and weeks with our little puppy at home. But yeah, just said, you know, I've heard other people that have had puppies over the last couple of weeks, and that's definitely a little bit like having children. So yeah, so that was kind of a really, really positive, wonderful personal thing that happened in the month of March. And it really took me, I would say, about 10 days to really get settled, right? To have this whole move out process, to create the new rental, and then also to kind of just get settled, build this office space, all of the different things, right? So it took me about 10 days and I really took the time to just do it. I didn't have any expectations of myself that I would try to get everything done at the same time while also doing all of these personal things. So I made sure that I recorded all of my content and all these different things beforehand. So I really gave myself almost like a 10-day vacation, staycation, in order to make sure that we're moving, we're, you know, taking care of the puppy, and we're just kind of getting a little bit settled. And so during this time, so at the end of the 10-day period when we were in this moving process, we got asked to shelter in place. So that was obviously a kind of big thing for everybody in the whole wild world, and we didn't really know how to navigate it. But honestly, I really pushed those thoughts away at the beginning because I was like, I have no idea what I'm going to do, because already, really honestly, the month of January and February were financially a little bit challenging for me. So I was really hoping that in March things would pick up and I would get booked more for trainings and I would start to travel more again. And of course, with sheltering in place, that was absolutely not possible. So I had all of these thoughts coming up at the beginning of March, being a little bit worried, of course, about, okay, how am I going to take my business now in this new environment and in this new space? But at the same time, I told myself, okay, listen, nobody really knows what's going on right now. Just focus on the task at hand, focus on getting settled in the new place. And then we'll sit down and really think about what is next. And with we, I mean me. But yeah, so that's kind of what I did. So once we got settled here in the house, I really sat down and thought about, okay, so how can I actually really support my community and how can I support my audience during this difficult time? There were a couple of different coaches and a couple of different businesses out there that reacted super quickly. And I am not the person to give up. I'm not the person to be super anxious and frustrated and kind of frozen for a period of time. I'm kind of just a doer. So I was like, okay, what can I do in order to support my audience? How can I shift my focus? And you know, at the time, which was around mid-March, I told myself, well, maybe I'm not going to make any money over the next couple of weeks. Maybe that's not a really good expectation to have at the moment. Maybe the thing that I should be focusing on now is to really support and help my audience. And with that, also create new business connections and networks. And that's really what I started to do. So through conversations with my clients, with friends that are still working in corporate, I gathered that, of course, the biggest two challenges for people at the moment were how to navigate change, because we were all experiencing change. And then second of all, of course, how to work really from home in a productive way. And especially because with the COVID-19 sheltering in place guidelines, all of a sudden we were not just home working from home, but we were also home usually with our families or with our roommates and with our kids or with our parents or all these different kinds of things, right? So really specific environment that people had to navigate through. And I was like, okay, I really want to support my audience with that. So what did I do? I basically kind of threw all of my other ideas and all of my other plans through the window, because I was planning to create a completely different training series in the month of March. I was thinking about starting to travel again and creating a couple of different workshops. I threw it all out of the window, and yeah, and I just started to create 2 new workshops, a COVID-19 specific workshop series where I talked about how to navigate change and best practices working from home. And with that, I just approached my audience. I approached my contacts, I approached my network, and I said, hey, I know that you're going through a really difficult time at the moment, and I, as a stress management trainer, of course, and as a peak performance coach, I want to help you navigate the change. How can I support you? So for the first couple of weeks, I offered these trainings for free. I didn't care if I would make money or not. I just cared that I could help my audience and that I could move forward as well and be just busy, right? Because nobody really wants to sit at home and then get all of these thoughts in their head about what am I gonna do? I don't have money, all these different things, right? Of course, I can totally relate to all of these different fears. I definitely had them. Definitely. We can talk a little bit about this as well. But yeah, I approached my network, and Of course, I had a few people that expressed interest, especially because it was for free, so people didn't have to bring up any budgets for these things. And for me, it was really easy because it was all virtual all of a sudden. I didn't have to travel. I had time to create the content and just run with it. And in a really short period of time, I think over, I don't even know, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, I had trained hundreds of people because I've had a lot of teams that were interested, and I was just really happy to help these people. And yeah, and I created new contacts with companies that I hadn't worked with ever before. And that was really all that counted for me, because not only, you know, am I exposed to other companies and their challenges, but other companies are also exposed to my programs and my offering. So I just thought that, you know, if I'm helping people, eventually it will come back to me. I'm planting a lot of good seeds at the moment, and that's all that counts for me. So March went by, April came around, and I continued to offer these workshops because a lot of people saw a lot of value in them. I learned a lot about virtual training, which was really, really interesting, on how to create really interactive workshops to make sure that people are engaged, make sure that now that people are actually just sitting in front of their computers at home, being distracted by all the other different things, how can I make sure that they are participating? How can I make sure that they are taking some valuable information away? And not just that, but also how can I get them into action? That was really my goal. So that was really, really wonderful. I really enjoyed it. And honestly, taking the pressure off that I don't have to charge for it for a certain period of time felt also really powerful, because I'm sure that when you are creating your own business, you can totally relate to that. It doesn't always feel really good to ask for money, especially when people are going through crisis, right? And so I told myself, I'm going to make money eventually. That's not the thing that I'm going to focus on right now. I'm going to focus on supporting my audience. I already said that 5 times now, but that's really what I was focusing on. That was what really resonated with me at the time. And it felt wonderful to be able even to reach out to different companies on LinkedIn and offer them workshops that they didn't have to pay for, but creating these new business connections. And it really worked. I created business connections with a lot of companies that I hadn't worked previously with. And so I was really happy about that. And so April came around. I continued to give these trainings. I continued to become more and more tight on money. So my financial situation obviously didn't improve at all in this whole process, especially because at the beginning of April, I had a one-on-one client that I was really counting on continuing with me, said that she can't continue with me because she didn't have the money, which again, we all understand this during these times, right? But that was, of course, all of a sudden a big hole and a big gap in my own bank account. So that was definitely a big struggle for me. You know, I was talking with my partner, I was talking with my family about a couple of different options because I needed to make money desperately, and also because short-term rentals were prohibited here in the area. All of a sudden, I also didn't make any rental money. So I had a lot of fixed costs, but I didn't have any income. So I was thinking about, you know, a couple of different ways, and I found a couple of different solutions. So for example, I moved my condo from a short-term rental into a long-term rental. So now I have renters, and they're locals that I can support, which is really wonderful. They're staying there until the end of the summer. And then honestly, there was no other way for me to do it, but I had to also apply for unemployment because I really didn't make any money, and I didn't want to ask for a business loan. I didn't want to borrow money, even though I had to borrow some money from my fiance for a couple of weeks. I did pay him back, but I did have to do that too. So it's been super, super tight for me and super challenging for me, because I'm sure that I mentioned this in one of the videos before, but I think as an entrepreneur and as a business owner, if there's one challenge that I really don't like, it's that financial regular income stream. That's super, super tough for me because I've had a job for so many years and I was so used to a regular income, and now that's not there anymore. And especially in the second year of business, all of my savings were exhausted. So yeah, so that was a really interesting period for me. Definitely went a little bit through ups and downs and frustrations and fears because of that whole financial situation. But we are sometimes stuck in these moments where we're like, oh my God, what am I going do? But 2 weeks later, you're like, oh, I would have been totally fine. I totally worried about this situation, but I actually navigated it really, really gracefully, right? Maybe you are in one of these situations right now and you are wondering, how am I going to do this? But there's always a way. There's always a way. Sit down, write down a couple of ideas of what you can do and get into action. That's really what I do, right? I'm getting frustrated about something, but then I'm trying to create some ideas through brainstorming. And then that's just what I'm going with, you know? So I invite you to do the same, no matter if it is financial crisis or anything else in your business development and building your business. If we are all going through it, nobody is exempted from these things, except if you have a really, really large savings account that you have access to. So yeah, so that was the month of April. And because I trained so many people, I told myself, you know, it would be really wonderful to start a group coaching program as well, where I am continuing that work that I just started through these 2 workshops with people that are interested to invest more of their time and energy. And so that was super spontaneous and also super scrappy. So literally those 2 trainings and that landing page that I created for these new workshops, I created everything in a couple of hours and then just blasted out an email to my network. And I did the exact same thing with the group coaching program. I had the idea, I was like, I really like this idea. I would really like to offer this to people at the end of the workshop. And I would really like them to graduate into these more group coaching related programs. So I put it up, I created a super scrappy Google form, had people sign up if they were interested. And I just started with that. I think that was mid-April. It's been so cool. I really love my group coaching program. I really love the people that are joining. It's such a different energy. I've never done a group coaching program ever before in my life. No, not me joining one and either the other way around, like me offering one. And it's been so cool. It's so wonderful to see how you're building relationships with all of these different people, right? And to see their progress and to see what they're struggling with and to lift each other up, and just that energy of the people that are there and showing up every single week. It's so cool. And you can already tell from my excitement levels and the big smile on my face. I'm super passionate about my group coaching group. There are so wonderful people, and just as much I hope, of course, they are learning from this process, I am learning as well. I have to at some point, right, create a more payment-based model around this group coaching program, because I can't just offer my time and energy for free forever, even though I would really love to, because it's just so much easier. But yeah, that was kind of a big shift also in April, because my fiance started to really challenge me, and sometimes you need this voice in your head that tells you, hey, you should really be starting to charge money. And he said to me on a regular basis, are you starting to charge money for this workshop? Are you starting to charge money for this workshop? I'm like, no, I don't know. It's going so well right now. And I'm building all these networks. I'm building these relationships. And of course, you know, I mentioned to the people as well that it's for free. And that's maybe why they're interested in the first place. But I knew that he was right, and that at some point I just had to make this really difficult decision that I need to start charging money for the programs and for the workshops. So at the end of April, I just kind of made a cut. I just told myself, okay, the next workshop request that's coming in, I just need to start asking for money, which was not so easy, and I felt really guilty about it at the beginning. But I think people were fine with it. You know, I was really honest and vulnerable with them, and I said to them, hey, listen, I would love to continue to offer these workshops for free, but I am also a small business who is affected by the COVID-19 crisis, and I just need to start making money. And people were super understanding. I think especially in the corporate context, right, the money is not really coming out of people's personal pockets. It's coming from a company fund, and companies that are still able to hire trainers, well, they're usually in a pretty good spot as well. So it was okay. I started to move more into a paid model, didn't need my unemployment anymore. And yeah, so that's been really great. So I'm starting to have bookings. And I also really believe that because I started to just really focus my energy on building these connections, you know, I had a much bigger pool of people that continue to ask me to build and to offer workshops. And so all of a sudden I had a much bigger kind of stream of requests coming in, which was really wonderful. So that's kind of where I'm finding myself now, right? It's 2nd of June today, but while I'm recording this video. So now we're kind of moving into the month of May. Right, so April was really challenging financially wise. I started to, at the end of April, shift from a free model to a paid model. I also started to rent my condo, and I also started my research study, which I am so excited about as well. With BrainTap, we are doing a program on the peak performance method, a 10-week program, and recruiting 20 people should sound so easy, but when you're getting started, 20 people is a big number. We always think and look at these other people and think, oh, they're having so successful businesses and there are probably thousands of people that are signing up for it and they're making millions of dollars. But when you are starting your business, that's not how it is. So I was proud about my 20 participants. I have such a cool group of people. And that was one thing as well, actually in the month of April, that I realized, because more people had more time and they were more invested in spending time and money on themselves and into their personal development. And also my research team had more time at their hand because they didn't have to travel. So that was really cool. And so we said, okay, let's do it. Let's get into the research study now before it is too late and everybody's getting too busy again. So we started that at the beginning of May. So I've been really busy again creating content on a weekly basis, right? 9 new modules. Of course, I'm drawing from the From Stress to Empowered program. And it's a really powerful process for me because while I'm creating this content, I'm learning a lot, right? I'm doing a lot of research. I signed up for cognitive behavioral therapy course and practitioner certification. And so I'm learning a lot as well, which has been really nice. So the month of May was really focused on continuing my group coaching, continuing my workshops, building peak performance program modules, and then of course my own self-study and learning to make sure that I'm evolving always as well. Yeah, so that was the month of May, and now we are in June. So it's going to be really interesting to see what's going to happen. I feel like June is going to be a little bit slower. So I'm really trying to keep my feet still, and I'm trying to focus on the things that I can control, which I always say to people is really important if you're navigating change. If you're starting to get frustrated about the things that are outside of your control, it's a waste of time and energy. So focus on the things that you can control. In the month of June, we had our wedding planned. Unfortunately, we had to postpone it to 2021. And that was definitely not a super mega emotional process for me, but of course, somewhat still emotional, right? I haven't seen my family in Germany since September, and I was really excited for them to come to Tahoe, to see my house, to see our new puppy, to meet the family, and to celebrate our wedding. So that's been a little sad, but we are totally level-headed about it, and we said there's no point in creating a lot of stress around maybe rescheduling to September, but then we don't really know if September the borders will open up and my family from Germany will be able to come here. So it's okay. I have made my peace with it. I can't control it, right? COVID-19 is just what it is. So I'm focusing on the things that I can control. And it looks like because of all of that, June is going to be actually pretty quiet. I'm continuing to build the program. I'm continuing to build the group coaching program. And of course, all the other things, my podcasts, my YouTubes, all the things. So yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at right now. I did let go of my personal assistant at the end of April, because I felt like I had enough time to just take care of the things myself, because I'm not traveling either at the moment. So that's definitely something where I saved a little bit of money, right? Where I just pulled in and was like, okay, I just need to really be clear on where my money is going at the moment and how I can save it. So that's actually one thing that I did between March and May as well, is to continue to really be good about bookkeeping and accounting and seeing where my money is going and seeing where I can save some money. So something that I highly recommend you to do as well. well. And if you are interested, I have a financial spreadsheet, a template that you can use if you want to. I'm more than happy to share it with you, more than happy to send it to you. I'm more than happy to do a video about it if you're interested about it. So let me know if that would be helpful for you. I know that when you're building a business, this can be one of the scariest and maybe overwhelming things, to look at your own finances and to plan a little bit ahead as well. So let me know. I have literally a template created that is ready to go when I'm doing my taxes. So I have the different business categories. I have certain categories that are personal, so that are not obviously going into my business. And, oh, I don't know if I actually mentioned that. Did I mention that in the month of January or February video, that I'm officially now incorporated? I'm officially now Julia Arndt Coaching Inc. I'm really happy about that, because we have bought this property and we want to make sure both, of course, since Scotty, my fiance, and I are both self-employed, that we are protecting our liability a little bit and that we are limiting our liability. So we both incorporated our businesses, which was a huge step and also some cost that was involved with that, but it feels really, really good. So I'm really happy that I did that. And yeah, so month of June, wow, I can't believe that, you know, half of the year is already passed by. So I'm still continuing to focus, of course, my energy on building my business, on business development, building new programs, the research study. Of course, my book is still lingering in the back of my head, but at the moment, I'm really focusing more on building that audience in order to be able to approach publishers then with a much bigger platform, which apparently they are really, of course, interested in that. So yeah, so I'm just doing all the things. I think I did mention, or maybe not, I think I mentioned in the February video that I got a PR assistant. She left as well. She got a new job. So I'm actually pretty lean at the moment. I only have my YouTube production team that has been so wonderful. And otherwise, yeah, I have nobody else that's supporting me at the moment, and that's okay too. And it's been feeling actually good to have that control over where I'm navigating and where I'm spending my energy. So yeah, that's a lot of information, hey? So I want to finish with that today. That's a pretty long video. Maybe you're super bored at the end. I hope you're not. But yeah, I think it's really cool to talk about this. I'm really curious to hear, if you're building a business, what are the biggest challenges that you have at the moment? Comment down below. Let me know. I'm more than happy to talk about it. I'm really passionate about building businesses. I have a lot of opinions about social media, finances, business development, programs, group coaching programs, one-to-one programs, workshops. I'm kind of going through licensing and making my programs more scalable at the moment. So there's a lot of things that I'm learning, and I'm more than happy to share them with you if you're interested. So let me know. And until then, feel free to check out, of course, any other videos on my YouTube channel. Make sure that you subscribe. Make sure that you give me a thumbs up if you enjoyed this video. And I will see you next week with the next video. All right? Okay, so take care, and I'll see you really soon. Bye.